Okay, as you can see from the title, weapons to bring to Vow of the Disciple raid. So for the beginning part, which is the section here, you can run anything you like. You got infinite resist. Simply just collect the knowledge, which is those orange shards, to the drill, and then you should be okay. There's no time or anything. Just collect and go. I'm not gonna get into the explanation of how to do the mechanics in the raid. That's not the purpose of it. As the focus is just on the weapons. So again, the first bit, feel free to run whatever you want to. As for the first encounter, you have two roles, which is a runner and reader. So for the runner, I recommend running Eager Edge Sword, like the other half. And again, we did get update with other swords with the Eager Edge perk. It is amazing for the first encounter, which highly recommended, because as a runner you would be moving a lot. So, and this is good source of damage, source of again speed, so you can use that. Now if you don't have an Eager Edge Sword, you can run any sword. You can run a machine gun or a sword. That's like usually the best two slots for the first encounter. That doesn't mean other slots you cannot use, like you can use Gallahorn for example. You can do a normal rocket. uh, Dangerous things, but they do great as well. But really the focus should be an Eager Edge or a machine gun. As for the secondary slot, you can run unstoppable rounds. Yes, there is unstoppable. So the seasonal mods currently for the season is unstoppable hand cannon. So you can run sunshot for ad clear and dealing with the champions. It's amazing as in the secondary slot. Now for the primary slot, you can run fusion or a shotgun to deal with the glyph keepers inside the chambers as a runner. And now let's say you don't want to run that. There's other options. So you can run a legendary hand cannon for unstoppable rounds, assuming let's say you don't have sunshot, and then you can keep a fusion or shotgun. Now there's also another option, which is Bastion here. Bastion provides unstoppable rounds. That's the trait of the gun itself. So you can run Bastion, one add clear weapon. So you got your unstoppable, one add clear weapon like hand cannon. You can run auto, pulse, traces, and SMGs. So whatever really in these slots. You can also do this if you want to. You can run like a fusion here. Now you have a fusion, or you can run a shotgun as well. You could do forbearance if you have it, and then you can run a hand cannon here. Now I know I don't have hand cannon because as you can see the slots are full, but you can run a hand cannon, and that is the runner, what you should have. There's also another thing I guess I should add is an Aegis burden. So if you want to run like let's say hand cannon is an Aegis burden and Eager Edge Sword, this is good here. This is a good combination if you want to. You can do this. It's also good. Or shotgun or fusion, and you have unstoppable whether you run exotic or non-exotic. And that's the perspective of the runner. As for the defender, yours can be kept the same, or you can optimize even more and further. So I recommend weapons like Gallahorn, because you do deal with a lot of ads, you deal with the unstoppable. So Gallahorn just clears them all in that one shot. Now if you don't run Gallahorn, you can run machine gun, which is amazing for ad clear. You can run a normal machine gun, or you can run Thunderlord, which I believe everybody can have access to Thunderlord. These are great options. Again, you can also continue with the sword, Gallahorn, machine gun, Thunderlord, or you can run grenade launchers, which is you get a lot of ammo nowadays, so 20, let's say 20 plus. So this is in the heavy slot. Primary slot or secondary, I guess we can do secondary. You can run again Sunshot, great for unstoppable, great for ad clear. You can run a normal hand cannon for ad clear / dealing with the unstops. You can run Treat Eagle, very great option here because you deal with a lot of ads. You can run SMGs, for example, right here, again for ad clear. But again, you do need a form of unstoppable, so I would recommend Sunshot or any hand cannon that it's legendary. Now in the primary slot, you can run, you could do Osteo, for example. That's great for ad clear. Even if you don't have unstoppable round, I mean, yes, it complicates things, but you're fine not to run it if you don't want to. Osteo does a great job in ad clear. You have other weapons like Witherhoard, which also does great. You can run fusion or shotgun. And you'll be okay. You can also run Bastion. There's really not much difference between the runner and the defender. You just make sure you have Unstoppable and a weapon that kills ads fast, or to stun the champion, to deal with the density of the ads. And that is it for the first encounter. Now the second encounter is a DPS, which is a boss fight. And whether you're a defender or runner, you should be running the kind of the same things. But again, we'll give options. Right now, the best tools, in my opinion, as especially as in a learning run, or just like your average LFG, we're not talking about optimizing speed running or like farming this forever, which is really grenade launcher in the heavy. Now, if you don't have a grenade launcher with a good roll, you can do support 1, which is basically you can run Gallhorn for support, and then the rest of the team can run rockets. So now we have Wolfpacks, and then we have rockets, assuming we're not running grenade launchers. So that's another way to do damage. You can also run Parasite. You can, if you add clear, you can build your stack, and it does great damage with Wormharmongers times 20 when it says full, and you can definitely do that. Now, so these are the best options, which is grenade launchers and rockets, support 1, and legendary rockets for the rest. You can also run linears. Now I feel like it's a dead meta, but you can. But with linears, I would recommend running a tool like, let's say you could do Divinity. One person can run support 2, which is Divinity, so people can do linears. Now, there's also another tool that I should have pulled it, but you know, it's Tractor Cannon as well. So you could do support 3, you can do Tractor Cannon, at least one person with it. The rest can do Gallhorn, one person, rockets, grenade launchers, and you have the 30% debuff as a Tractor Cannon as a support to your team. And again, if you don't want to, you can do Divinity with a linear, and then we have the div, and everybody's using linear, and you can do damage. Now this is for the heavy slots, and then a little bit of secondary here. Now for the secondary slot, I recommend running this. So let's say you can run a fusion, whether it's a secondary slot or a primary slot. Okay, again, you're gonna choose one slot depending on what you have. So I have Cartesian, therefore I can go and use one add clear weapon. I could do Osteo, great for add clear, great for running as well, and stunning in general. It works perfectly fine. You could do Outbreak, you can do like any SMG, hand cannon, you can even run a trace. It's fine as long as you have a fusion. Fusion is a must-have in my opinion, just because if you run out of super, you don't have it for the next floor, for the next DPS, you can use fusion to build your super faster. And this is where fusion comes in, and they're really, really good. So a good build that it would be like this. Like for example, you can, again, you could do Izanagi's Burden. You could do like one add clear weapon like that. You could do this if you want to. This is a great build here. You can do fusion, one add clear weapon. Like you could do Sunshot. You could do Trace, SMG. These are all really good slots here. And that is it for the second encounter. Now, third encounter, it's focused on lots of add clear and survivability. I recommend running swords and or Gallhorn for fast add clear. You can also run Lament because it heals you and blocks, and it also deals damage. So Lament, Gallhorn for fast add clear. It hits hard and it clears the ads a lot. And then SMG, not SMG, sorry, sword, and you can run also machine guns. These are the best slots for the heavy. You can run these. Now for the secondary slot, I recommend weapons like Sunshot. I do talk about Sunshot a lot. It's just because it's in a great place in the game right now. So you can run Sunshot as a just add clear weapon. You can run SMG. You can run Trinity Eagle. And these are all add clear weapons in the secondary slot. Now you can run Fusion, which is great for dealing with the glyphs and majors. You can also run Forbearance, which is also extremely fast for add clear. Now these are in the secondary slot. Primary strat, you can do Riptide like that. You can do like a Fusion. You can do Shotgun. You can run With the Horde for, again, add clear. Osteo for add clear, one of my favorite choices. You can also run Conditional Finality if you have it for add clear. Like you can do this, for example. You could do run Conditional, SMG, machine gun, sword. This is good. Usually what I run personally, I do Osteo. It just works for me. and then Eager Edge Sword for movement slash killing any majors, glyphs and whatnot. Fusion again with glyphs and whatnot, and just holding the trigger, and then I got my shots to extend. With the Horde, it's another good option. Like I said, this is another good build. If you don't want to run a sword, machine gun will do the trick like that. This is for the third encounter, and that is for the third encounter. Now for final boss, heavy wise, there's so many different methods. They're not wrong, but the question is which is more optimal, right? Again, as long as people agree on one method, then let's go for it. We can run grenade launcher, which is right now in a great place, like I said, as heavy. We can run lament. Yes, swords do work against the final boss. We do it sometimes for fun, and they do actually do a buff have like 70 to 60%, assuming people know how to do lament or any legendary sword. You can definitely do that. Grenade launchers, like I said, you can run support 1 Gallahorn, and then the rest they use rockets. It works great. You can also run Whisper, but for Whisper to be good place, you need someone to run Divinity. So this is options with Divinity. So if Divinity is active in the field, you run Whisper. Do I recommend it? Not really. It hits hard, but it's very hard with a boss that moves all the time. So, but again, you can run it. Div is active. You can run Whisper or Thunderlord. That's also another option. Or Linears. As you can see, I'm trying my best to give options because I understand people might not have different guns. So we give options for everything. And that's with Divinity. Now, again, that's the heavy slots. As you can see, Thunderlord, Lament, Whisper, Legendary Rockets, Support, which is Gallahorn for World Packs, Grenade Launchers, Linears. Secondary slot, I highly recommend running a Fusion, whether it's in the secondary or the primary. Fusion are amazing when you run out of heavy. You have your Fusion, it does great damage, it builds your super faster, and then you have, more damage. So this is the secondary slot. You can run a Fusion. You can also run the Fourth Horseman. It runs out of heavy, but it also great damage. You can also, like I said, play support for as a Divinity, and you can run add clear weapon like Sunshot, hand cannon, normal, legendary hand cannon. You can run forbearance for fast add clear. But I honestly, like I said, I would recommend keeping the Fusion in the secondary slot or the primary slot. As for here, as a primary, I love personally using Outbreak. So usually this is what I run personally. I do Grenade Launcher, Cartesian, and Outbreak. Outbreak for clearing the ads. It also does damage if I run out. It's just amazing. This is usually my build. I enjoy it a lot. Some people do Izanagi's Burden. You can do like Fusion. Some people run double special, or you can do hand cannon for ad clear, and you can run SMG, proc, bait and switch here. If you have the roll, you can do that, or you can do bait and switch rockets, which is usually what was the meta back in the days. And so this is really really good stuff here. Now, one thing I didn't mention, I forgot, is actually the very last slot, which is Tractor Cannon. Now, if you're not running diff, one of the guys, please use Tractor Cannon for your team, because that is 30% debuff. It's amazing. So you can run, let's say this is Tractor Cannon. I know it's Thunderlord. So you can run Tractor Cannon, you can run a Fusion, and then of course one add clear weapon. You can like run a Scout, for example. Add clear weapon, hit the tractor, and then use your Fusion. So you can do damage. You provide a debuff to assist your team. You're also doing damage with your Fusion. Not to forget, you have your super. And that's all the weapons. Now, I'm not really supposed to explain the supers, but let's just go over things. Now, for the first encounter, I usually do Stasis as a hunter for speed, and it does a great job. Now, you can also run Arc for add clear, Tether, Suspension, Solar. They're all good. And then same goes for the other classes. You could do like Wall of Radiance. I highly recommend running Wall of Radiance. And then Tiny, you could do Hammers or Banner of War. As for the boss fight, Hunters, you should be on Blade. Give me a second, sorry. You can do Blade Barrage right here with Star Eater scale if you have them. Great for DPS as a hunter. Titans, you can do Paragal Gauntlets as a solar, or you can do Thunder Crash with Gears of the Falling Star for DPS. And then Warlock, you can do Wall of Radiance. In case of multiple Warlocks, do Strand Warlock. Now that's for the first boss, Caretaker. The third encounter is Ad Clear, so you can just focus on anything you like, survivability, some bracers, Arc Titan, you can do Banner of War. Banner of War really should be the play, or Solar or Bubble. I usually, as a hunter, around this helmet, Assassin Cal, with, 1-2 punch or something, it just heals me and it makes me invis, and it's just great. For Rolk, I go back to my Caretaker build here, just the same thing really. Star Eaters as a hunter. You can also run Golden Gun, it's up to you, it's optional. I usually do Star Eaters with Blade Barrage. Do Wall of Radiance, do Strand, you do Thunder Crash, you can do Paragal Gauntlets, you can also do Banner of War. And that is it. Any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you around.